That's sick though. So you stopped getting like a proper trainer.
Yeah, and it was a little bit. It started once I was starting to race World Supercross, right? And I've always had a trainer, and I don't know. There was just something inside of me. I said, I'm going to all these places, all these different countries. I'm in the plane for hours and hours and hours on end. Like the person that knows how I feel is myself, right? So then I don't know. I wanted to experiment for a little bit with just doing stuff on my own and really listening to what I personally feel. And honestly, I've been under such good I've been taken care of on the training side of things for so long from so many good people, starting with Eldon back in the day, there was things to take away from that. Then Peter, my dad to begin with, and then to Eldon, to Peter, and then Blake, my brother-in-law. And I still always talk to Blake and Peter really, but I always ask, or write me a workout when I'm in St. George, like how it was last year. And we go to the gym together. So that relationship never changed, but I
But
really
it's
wanted
a
to,
little bit more on your own terms.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. I could see how that would be a good way to go about
Yeah.
it. Like you know how to train and
Yeah.
you're like you're in the zone
Yeah.
of where you need to be.
I try to sleep in when I can, or how can I put this? I try to allow myself to sleep in and schedule my training a little bit on different time zones and just a little bit later in the day or whatever, because based on like if I feel like, hey man, I've been a bit sleepy, maybe not gotten enough sleep, because sometimes I feel a massive difference whether I go to sleep at like 11:15 or an hour earlier at 10.
Oh,
Like that's
dude.
way more important going to sleep earlier rather than adding on an hour later on.
Yeah.
But sometimes, certain days you feel like you just can't fall asleep or whatever it is, you go to bed later. So then there's other days where I'm like, man, I really need to sleep in a little bit. And so I just started kind of structuring things around a little bit as needed for me personally.
Yeah. Yeah, and it makes sense. Like, dude, you're at a point in your career where like surely you can do that. Like
Yeah.
you're not a kid. And you've always been very disciplined. And I think you've always liked training in terms of like doing those exercises.
Yeah.
But it's probably just the regime and being like super locked in on other people's time, on other people's deal, that's probably the thing that's harder.
And it's two-sided a little bit in a sense, like, because some people, you can do a day of training, but like, I think some people just get lost and they want somebody
To
to
tell
tell
them what
them
to do.
what to do. It saves them mentally. And honestly, a lot of them probably wouldn't know what to do really, if they wouldn't have anybody to, talk to, or trying to do everything on their own. There's always questioning, but honestly, like I said, I've been under such good coaching when it comes to those side of things for so many years that like, I still know the exercises. I know the weight that I did back in the day, but that always changes, right? But I don't know. Like I said, once you start and in the first couple of weeks, you're trying to find your feet. But in general, like now after a few years of doing it on my own, you start becoming super comfortable and it's your normal, right? And I don't know, I just kind of started obsessing over it a little bit and really almost made it a hobby in a sense.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then if you can get into it like that, then there hasn't really been any questioning on my side, Like I'm never questioning this day if I did enough or not enough, what exercises I did. Like I try to think as it's not rocket science, you know what I mean? If you just sit down and like think about what you really need for every push you do a pull, like, and you want to cover your bases between long-term, long duration fitness, short duration fitness, and your strength and some explosive stuff. Like if you lay it out a little bit, like it all makes sense. You cover your bases, you know what I mean?
What's the stuff you like doing the most? Like right now for you, what's the stuff you're into fitness wise?
Well, I grew up running. Like I always loved running. I haven't done much running lately because of my knee. Not that I can't run right now, but there were
From the Nashville
from
crash?
the Nashville crash. Yeah, that
yeah.
just took like it was good for a while, and then it really started giving me problems. And so I really had to focus on strengthening that quad and get it more stable. Get everything firing, which I did for a while too. But then there was just time where it was bugging me, and it was starting to get worse and worse and worse. So. I'm not running much lately. Obviously I road bike a lot. I have a great relationship and one of my long-term sponsors with Canyon. They're a German brand. Like they're supplying me with all kinds of bikes. I have a trials bike at home too that I mess around on. But in general, I go through stages again, because I like to do different stuff all the time and it not very like every day the same thing. And you need a little bit of that just because I feel like when you get into it and let's say you're doing the ski erg for a while, you want to kind of like get better at that one thing, you have to put in some time like isolated to the skier, right? To be able to kind of know and push it and get some better numbers and things like that. But in general, when it's not about the building side of things, like during the week, during the season, I do different stuff all the time. Mainly cycling. It's easy on the joints, and like it's definitely good to have a little bit of a go-to cardio session that you just know your body really well, right?
And it's like probably easy to hit numbers too. Like
Yes,
when you
on
know
road
the
bike,
numbers
yeah.
that you've got to
So
hit.
one of my favorite machines lately is the assault bike, or I should say for the last couple of years.
Yep.
For the people that don't know, it's where you use your hands,
Pull one up. Just
your
for-
arms, and your legs, and you have a big fan in the front. They're in general, like people hate them because they're
They're sick
miserable.
that way.
I fucking love them. Like,
Really?
They're hard,
Yes, dude.
but I have been in the pain cave. Like,
What's the workout you're doing on them?
oh, I can't give away all my.
Oh
all
yeah,
my
yeah. No.
secrets.
But is it like interval type stuff?
Yeah,
or-
intervals, and when it rains or whatever, and we do training indoors, like I go from assault bike to skier to my stairmaster. Like I
Yeah.
bounce around with stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But this is usually always in my warm up. Like I love getting on the assault bike. It is a full body thing, and it's just overall a miserable workout. Like there's nothing really you do on there that's easy. You know what I mean? But so I don't know. I started loving it, and that's definitely in my pretty much almost everyday routine.
What about for strength wise?
Strength wise, so I go through stages again where I'm like really into the gym and I love it, and then there's other times where I'm just like I have to
Just don't
kind of
need
drag
it as
myself
much.
in there a little bit.
Yeah.
In general, I definitely love lifting heavy,
Yeah.
like for actual strength, not muscle endurance, whatever, but actual strength. That's the most fun to me.
Do you like the way it feels? Do you like the way it feels mentally?
Yeah, I think mentally,
Yeah.
the workouts where you kind of, or maintenance workouts are usually not the funnest because they're kind of like, you're not going really heavy, you're not going light, you know what I mean? It's a lot of times it's really just to keep your muscles firing, right? Like I feel like if I cut out the gym completely, I don't feel like I have the
You're not as
explosive-
hard and yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like your legs feel more dead, you know what I mean? It's good to get them fired up a little bit. So that's what I mean. Like if I have my heavy lifting sessions, they're just more fun to me. Like it's harder.
Put
They're
on some
definitely
fucking metal music and
yeah,
just
shorter
go.
reps, and it's just I don't know. That's what I truly enjoy, and especially once you start getting to the nitty gritty, like trying to add some weight and whatnot. Like I don't know, it's just the most fun to me. It's like it's not even the hardest when it comes. You're not doing that many reps, but when it's purely about lifting heavy weights and squatting, and it's really endless because when you squat, like you want to have good range of like active range of motion and stuff. You want to get into a deep squat without rounding your pelvis or getting hyperextended. So like there's so many ways you can work your body to become better and stronger, and you can squat deeper, and I don't know, it's endless.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.